Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the stream. Welcome to 2 Inch Charge, another weekly stream, and I'm actually on time this time. Well, actually, I'm early, so that's a new one for me. So welcome in, everybody. So yes, Old World. We're going to be talking about the Old World tonight and how it is literally 1 year old, which is pretty cool. I mean, I'm really getting my Old World jam on. If you've checked out my Instagram, you'll have seen that I've really started to sort of paint up my my Bretonian army, which is actually quite good. Found my my maidens. Can't find the one on foot. Don't know where I put her. She's in a box somewhere. But yeah, I'm going to get her built. Got a game of the Old World tomorrow, so I still need to write my list. So my book's on the floor to do that. But yeah, all in all, it's going to be really good. But yeah, it's going to be fun. Really looking forward to actually getting into more of the Old World, to be completely honest. And we're going to be looking at how it's been for the last year. We'll be going over to the Warhammer community page and looking at the Old World articles that we've had for a while. And we've got some really good stuff, and we've got some really good things, actually. Some things that I didn't really talk about either, and it's kind of nice. You know, we've got a big... It's been an interesting first year, to say the least, and I think there's going to be some more exceptionally cool stuff coming in the very, very near future, to be completely honest. So yeah, I think it's going to be quite interesting. So obviously, we'll chart it. So the Old World come out basically this time last year. Would have been probably either just coming onto the shelves now, or when was the pre-order? Let's have a little look. The Warhammer Day preview, Kingdoms Bretonian reveal. So we had the preview show way back in April, which was kind of expected because we had the launch. But the Old World kind of launched, what, it was around about last year, January 2024. Yeah, it would have been a year old. So we got the sort of around about the very beginning of January. I think it was literally, was it the first or 2nd of January that the boxes actually went on sale, which was pretty impressive. What was the first weekend of January? Yeah, so it was around the 6th or 7th, I believe, that they kind of come out, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, we got the army boxes. Like a lot of people, I jumped on the Bretonians. Other people jumped on the Tomb Kings. And I'll flip over the things so we can look at the Warhammer communities page. And we've got all of the old articles, right? And like the very first article that they put out, which was really cool. So this is when it was kind of announced. They kind of announced it way back in, what was that, 2023, 2020, like the Old World. This was the first sort of article that they kind of shown, and they had like the classic paint jobs, and you know, the classic sort of miniatures for the Kislev. Now, obviously, for some unknown reason, Kislev have been shelved, or at least put away. Other people are saying that this is down to the war in the Ukraine. I'm not massively buying that, because these winged lancers are more Baltic region origin, rather than actual, you know, Russian Kislev, Russian Ukrainian type stuff. So I'm not really getting into that. But you know, there is a lot of some really cool aesthetics in there, and obviously there's a lot of aesthetics from that region. But we had that. Of course, it's not going to stay at the very beginning, but we've had quite a lot, and that was the very first article. And then I do believe that they did show the concept artwork for like the polar bears the polar bear cavalry and stuff like that, which was pretty cool. And as you can see, a lot of it is Bretonnians and Tomb Kings, because that was where the bulk of the article sort of came from. And then, you know, we started getting into, you know, the sort of meat of the sort of the build up to the edition, which very quickly changed to Bretonnian Tomb King launch. The rumors were out about the box set and everything else, which was pretty cool. So we got like this one, I believe. Give a bit more of Kislev, and we sort of got the interactive map, and then the answer in there, we go in round bases or square bases, and it come out that it's going to be completely square. But yeah, it was a really, really, really good time. In all. Now I really love this miniature. I will say that now. This miniature is probably one of the best sculpts they have released so far, but by far. But yeah, it's been fun. I'm really digging it. The old world. So a year in, and I think it's gone pretty well. My initial assessment of it was that we were gonna get it. That we were only gonna really sort of get all of the factions by sort of, you know, summer last year, which obviously didn't happen. Which yeah, you know, it is what it is. Maybe that was wishful thinking on my part, like we were actually going to get everything out by the summer. You know, we're a year in and we still haven't got them all out, although we've basically got 2 left. So it's going to take them about 18 months to get everything out. Obviously, after that, we have the big sort of tease that they've come out with the roadmap and everything else, which is the you know, Cathay. Like the units that I think we're probably going to get in Cathay are going to be quite interesting. And I think there's a load of sort of potential stuff that we can sort of talk about. Like the Wood Elf Battalion box, I think it's going to mainly be Glade Guard. I think it's going to be mainly. In fact, I don't even think they're for sale. Were they not removed from the Warhammer store already? I don't even think they're on there. I don't even think you can buy them. I think they've been completely removed. Have a look in the order section of Cities of Sigmar. So that's where the vast majority of these kits were. But there are some really weird outstanding kits. Like the Dark Elf kits are still pretty much there. You can still pretty much get the Dark Elf kits. But all of the Wood Elf stuff seems to have been removed completely. Which is a bit of a shame. But I do believe that we will get the for the old world, for the Wood Elf Battalion. I think that's going to consist of 2 units of Glade Guard. You'll probably get enough Glade Guard to make at least 2 units. And I think do they not have cavalry? They have the horses, and the unit can also be mounted on stags, I believe. Pretty sure that was a unit. So yeah, you've got the. Let's have a look. Yeah, you've got the Wood Elf sort of units. You got the Glade Guard. You've got those weird horses, and then you've got those stags. Be interested to see the tree men of what they're going to get. They're going to be pretty cool. Oh yeah, the Sisters of the Thorn. I think you'll definitely get them. Eternal Guard, they were plastic as well, so they should make a comeback. But the old battalion box was a unit of Glade Guard, Glade Riders, which is the plastic kit, and a bunch of Dryads. Now the Dryads are a really interesting one in terms of what they are, because they're still in the Age of Sigmar. Now there are sort of pictures of updated Dryads for Age of Sigmar, in the form of a Warhammer, the Underworld's Warband. There's like a new Sylvaneth one. It has like a tree revenant with a bow, and it kind of implies that there's probably going to be more tree revenants and variations of the tree revenants coming, rather than just being mostly treekin. But then you've got your tree lords, your Durthus, like they're all old Warhammer Fantasy kits that are in Age of Sigmar. So they would have to bring out a new sort of tree lord kit for Age of Sigmar, unless like the game continues to use both, which is kind of a bit of against what Games Workshop are currently doing in regards to how they're sort of like pumping that out. Although there are outliers, you know, the Chaos Lord on foot that is in the Slaves to Darkness box, is still the Slaves to Darkness Lord on foot, for Warriors of Chaos. So there is that. Like that model is definitely much still, you know, there. Although we do have the new Friedel, the Chainmaker model, which is kind of cool. Although I've not seen the old Sorcerer model is back in there yet. So the champion, he's now known in Warhammer, he's known as the Champion of Chaos, and he is the Chaos Lord in Age of Sigmar, which is interesting. So he still sort of floats between both games. I do think at some point he will get done. I don't think they're fully finished with Chaos yet, in regards to obviously the build up to the first war with Chaos, Azavar Call and all of that kind of stuff. So next year I think it's going to be interesting. But I have seen a lot of people talking about second edition already. Like the game is a year old. And I think it took them quite a while to get the first FAQ out. And it's the same with like Horus Heresy second edition. It took them like 18 months to get an FAQ out for that game. And you barely ever get FAQs. And it's the same as the Old World. I know people are like reading into it like, oh, the FAQ was really small and not that sort of, you know, populated and didn't fix that many issues and all of this kind of stuff. But it kind of, you know, you can't just equate that to, you know, there's a new edition coming in 2 years' time, because that just doesn't make sense. Because if you think about it, Warhammer 40k is essentially going to get a new edition next year, right? Like that is guaranteed, unless they are pushing the editions out to 4 or 5 years, and there's potential of that happening. I wishful thinking on my part if that is the case, but you never know. That's what they might do. But then you have, you know, you've got that sort of like you've got this year where there's no new edition. But where are they going to fit the Old World in regards to a new edition? So if they do Horus Heresy. If they do a new edition of Horus Heresy this year, you're going to have 30k, you're going to have 40k next year as a new edition. The year after that is going to be Age of Sigmar. So 2026, 40k, 2027, Age of Sigmar. When in that period do you put in the Old World? So, you know, if you put in the Old World in 2028, that means that the game is going to be, what, about 4 years old? So it's not on the 3-year cycle, it's on a 4-year cycle, because they can't release 2 major games like in 1 year. Like I think they dropped you know, they dropped the old world last year because they kind of had to. But then, you know, they had Age of Sigmar 4th edition that summer, which is really, you know, the problem with the whole argument that they're bringing the specialist games, Horus Heresy and the Old World, into a 3-year cycle, there isn't the space to do it, because 40k hits theirs, and then the year later, Age of Sigmar gets their edition. So there is no, if there was like a year in between the two major systems, so if it was like 40k a year free, Age of Sigmar a year free, then yes, you could theoretically argue that they could fit the Horus Heresy and the Old World into those two blank years. So they could have 40k Horus Heresy, Age of Sigmar, the Old World, 40k Heresy, and just roll it down like that. But otherwise than that, they can't. They're at some point, the Old World has to kind of drop at the same time as one of the major systems, and that's a lot of logistics. That's a lot coming out, and that's a lot of competition for 2-year games. I mean, Age of Sigmar and the Old World coming out exactly the same time at the same year, within 6 months apart, was mental. Like, that wasn't the best plan. But again, I don't fully believe that they think Age of Sigmar is a competitor to the Old World, and I don't think they thought the Old World was going to be as popular as it is. Now, for me, I think it's an absolutely amazing system. Like, I am currently delving into my fantasy forces of fantasy to write my Bretonian list. But like, this is brilliant, and what the sort of build of how the Old World is currently working is very similar to the Horus Heresy. So I do think that we are going to see campaign books. I personally don't believe that either game is getting a 3-year cycle. I know big content creators like you know, the Squarebase, the Honest Wargamer, and Val are pumping out like that, talking about new editions and stuff like that. I don't think the Old World's going to get a new edition anytime soon. The game is literally a year old. We haven't even got all of the main factions out yet, and people are talking about a 2nd edition of the game. If anything, I think maybe the rulebook might need a sort of tidy up, like kind of like how the Horus Heresy got a 1.5, where they kind of redid the rulebook for a bit after Alan Blythe died, and sort of tidied it all up and sort of consolidated a lot of things. Maybe that's what might be needed for the Old World. But in the grand scheme of things, these things, the 2 books that your armies have basically come out with, they're pretty solid. Like, there's very little needs done to these in regards to FAQs. The flavour pamphlets, thank you, Ben. I was hoping to have Ben on tonight, 90% Geek. Should definitely go over and check out his channel. Like, he is a massive Old World nerd. Like, I would say he's probably one of the better Old World channels out there, so you should definitely go and subscribe to 90% Geek. In fact, what I will do is I will get his YouTube channel and I will put it into the chat so you can all hit that link. He calls these flavour pamphlets. 100% is now stuck with me forever. They really are flavour pamphlets, but they're really good, and I think this is probably one of the cooler things that they've done in the Old World, and I would definitely like to see something like this put into the Horus Heresy. Like, I would happily buy a Sons of Horus flavour pamphlet with just Sons of Horus artwork, Sons of Horus lore, Sons of Horus rights of war, new characters, new units, and just take that book, like pay £10-15 for it, take it off the shelf. Here's my flavour pamphlet for the Sons of Horus. Brilliant. I think these are really good, and one of the cooler things that they have done on the for the game so far. But yeah, let's check out 90% Geek. He's a really cool guy, Ben. if you haven't seen the lads over at the Warhammer podcast, he's on there with Luke and Sai. He's a very, very cool dude, and let's get his channel. Here we go. I'm going to put this in the chat now. So definitely check it out. He does a lot of the old style games in regards to the likes of you know, Warhammer Fantasy Battle, things like that. He does Gothic, talks a lot about the sort of old second edition 40k. Absolutely amazing edition. But yeah, he's very, very good, so you should definitely check out 90% Geek. He is good. He currently has a video up talking about the Cathay, painting high elves, Empire characters, Empire Man. He even gets a little bit of 40k love in there, but a lot of it is Warhammer the Old World orientated. He is probably one of the cooler Warhammer the Old World channels, so definitely check that out. But yeah, and the other guys over as well, like Luke and Simon as well. You should definitely look at them as well. But that's my plug-in. All right. But yeah, the Old World, 1 year in. So predictions wise, in what I'm thinking, I think we're probably going to get the High Elves. I'm actually hoping that the High Elves go on pre-order next week, after they get announced next, because I'm hoping that the Emperor's Children are a little bit further into February than only a few weeks away. So you know, I can get the funds ready together to buy the boys in pink. I'm very excited about the Emperor's Children, but we're not going to be talking too much about them because I'll get sidetracked. But yeah, the Old World. So the High Elves, they have obviously the big High Elf reveal, and there's a lot of High Elves coming. Now for me, I think the High Elves are probably the biggest faction that they've kind of shown on a scale that, like, no other faction has had. Like Bretonnians and Tomb Kings, yeah, they got the army boxes. They're really cool. No other faction got them, but that's kind of your, which is a shame because I think the army boxes are really, really quite nice. I know they're quite expensive. You get the rule book and everything else in it, but I think Games Workshop should produce an army box for the other armies. Especially for new players who want to get in, because there is no starter box for the Old World. In regards to, like, there's no 2-player starter box like there is for the Horus Heresy. You know, if you're new to the Horus Heresy and you're getting in with your friend, the pair of you can chip in for the Age of Darkness box. You can split the guys down between two. Okay, you can fight for a Spartan or a Dreadnought, but you can essentially take so many Marines each and so many Terminators. You get a character each. You only get one rule book. Let's be fair. They say it's a 2-player starter set, but it's really not. It's an army box to get you started. And that's exactly how the Bretonnians and the Tomb King boxes are. They're army boxes to get you started into the game. So it would be really cool to see like an army box for the Empire. For the Tomb King, for the Beastmen and Chaos Warriors and stuff like that, and with the rule book in there and everything else that you need. And even if they kept them mailed to order, that would be kind of cool, because at least then if you're a new player and you're like, right, I want to play Warriors of Chaos, there's the battalion box there, brilliant, but I can pay like 120, 140 pounds for that box here. That gets me like almost 1,000 point army with the rule book in there, and then all I have to do is pick up my army book and my flavor pamphlet, and I'm good to go. That for me, I think, is really good. And a lot of other retailers do this already. If you look at Mantic, they have like army boxes and army bundles for Kings of War, and I think Games Workshop are kind of missing a treat of not doing those army launch boxes for the other factions, rather than just keeping it Bretonnians and Tomb Kings. And what's really bad as well is the Bretonians and Tomb Kings don't have battalion boxes. Like, we don't have a battalion box at all. As far as I'm aware, like, I have not seen a battalion box for the Bretonians and the Tomb Kings. We have the big core set, which comes obviously with the big rulebook, but we don't have a battalion box. No, we don't. No battalion box. So those two armies kind of sort of crap out because they've got a really expensive launch box, but they don't have a battalion box. So, you know, like, even if it consisted of 2 units of knights and a unit of peasants and a unit of bowmen, you know, that'd be fine. But we don't even get that. We're literally just like, yeah, if you want to buy more like core stuff for your army, like the other armies can do, you're literally having to go out and buy one of those army boxes again, which is annoying. Okay, you know, we don't really want multiples of the dupes on the Griffin, because, you know, it's not a dual kit. It doesn't share the dual kit with the standard bearer. They're 2 different kits, even though they're roughly the same model. So yeah, is it kind of annoying? But the battalion box that we're kind of getting for the Wood Elves, with the High Elves, is pretty cool. And I can see the Wood Elves getting something very, very similar to this. I think the Wood Elves are going to get at least 3 units of Glade Guard, the ones with the spears and the bows. You'll probably get the archers as well. Pretty sure they're 2 separate kits. And then rather than chariots, I think you'll get 2 units of the Glade Riders. You might get some Dryads in there. Now, the old battalion box was quite interesting in that regard. But yeah, and then obviously they'll get a flavour pamphlet. I still think we haven't seen everything for the High Elves yet. Mainly because of this. This little dude right here. They've already confirmed that the Eagles are coming. But this little guy right here, that guy on the hippogriff, he's nowhere to be seen, boys and girls. He isn't in the rulebook. He isn't in that book down there. There is no sign of that model whatsoever. And I honestly think that model is getting redone. There is going to be a new plastic kit for him. I don't think we've fully seen everything yet. He's awesome. She's awesome. They're really cool. That's amazing. That's nice. These guys are really cool. But yet there's some really other sort of high elf stuff that isn't being revealed. But this is a serious amount of plastic coming. Serious amount of plastic. So I think it's going to be kind of interesting to see what they actually get. I'm really hoping that they get that. I'll have to find a picture of him actually. The High Elf Lord on Foot, I think he was called. He's a really, really awesome miniature. Beautiful miniature. It's a very, very old classic mini. Like, when I find him, everyone will sort of be like, oh yeah, I remember him. But yeah, where is he? I mean, even this one, hasn't been revealed. That one hasn't been revealed. And that's a really cool miniature. Like, that's a really, really cool miniature. But there is another one, this one down here. This one here. But there is another one that is an absolute stunning miniature. Like, I really love, like, this version. I'm pretty sure that is Juan Geraldo Miniatures version that he did. But there is another High Elf on foot that is Where is he? No. I'm gonna have to get googly eyes for my Bretonians. Where is he? He was an absolute classic. I remember trying to get my hands on him when I was getting back in 8th edition, and he was really hard. Is that him? That is him, but it's not a great paint job of him. Right, I need to find a better paint job on that miniature. There's a better picture. There he is. This miniature here. This guy right here. This guy. This is the one high elf miniature I hope they bring back. That guy, that miniature is beautiful. Now that has been converted slightly. I think that shield has changed, but that miniature is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, there he is. That one. I really hope that miniature gets brought back. That, for me, is one of the best high elf look characters on foot that they've done for a long time. So I really hope that they really get that and that comes back. So yeah, there's that. The Wood Elf. Wow. You type in Warhammer Wood Elves and you get all sorts of really crazy stuff. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff to get. I think the twins on the dragon will definitely come back. Orion, potentially. Now, that's an interesting one. Will we get Orion? Will we get Orion coming back? Unsure. But yeah. So I think the Wood Elves are going to be quite a good one. The biggest one I'm looking forward to is Beastmen. I think the Beastmen are going to be really, really, really cool. Because the goats should be. I know Chaos is the big protagonist, is the big bad, but I think the Beasts of Chaos should be the main focus, the main bad guy for now. Because there's probably more Grey Herds and Beastmen running around the old world than there is actual Chaos Warriors. And I think that would be a kind of really sort of cool element to have in the game, is to make the goats the big guy, the big bad, especially until sort of Azov-Cole and the first War of Chaos starts to move forward and etches in. Then it could be kind of a sort of interesting one. But yeah, I think that would be kind of cool. But and then obviously Cathay. We're then obviously going to get Cathay. I think the rough timeline, I'm going to estimate that Cathay will probably come out October, November this year. I think the High Elves are going to come out relatively quick. I think they're going to come out sometime next month. Because the Git Mob are on pre-order next week. So that will be Saturday the 1st. So we're going to be into February. And I believe that's a week pre-order. So they'll probably be out in and around the 8th. I think Sunday, I'm really hoping they don't, but I think they probably will announce the Emperor's Children launch box or round about the 2nd, Sunday the 2nd, for them to sort of come out the week after. I really, really don't. I'm kind of hoping that they kind of come out, you know, they get announced on this 23rd and they kind of come out round about the 1st of March. That's when I'm hoping the Emperor's Children come. Because, you know, that would be kind of good for me. But I've got a feeling that the Emperor's Children are going to come quite quickly. You get that launch box out. I'm thinking sort of around about the 15th to the 22nd is probably going to be the High Elves if they don't get announced this weekend. And then the High Elves will come out with their main push, and then a week after that, or a week or two after that, they'll get the second wave, which will probably be, you know, the rest of their units, and they're made to order and all of that stuff. Because the High Elf release is a huge release. Then I am fully expecting around about end of March. Then we have, is it Adapticon in March? I think in March at Adapticon we will have the announcement for the Beasts of Chaos. The Beasts of Chaos will get announced. And we'll see them in their glory. And I think there's going to be some pretty cool big things in there. Fingers crossed for a brand new Shaggoth in plastic. That would be really cool. I know it's wishful thinking, but you know, that would be kind of awesome. I think their battalion is going to be... Their battalion box will probably be made up of lots of goats. Surprise, surprise. I think it'll be a lot of normal beastmen, a lot of gauls, a lot of ungauls. I think you'll probably get about 30 to 40 gauls, probably around about, you know, maybe 24, 32 ungauls. And I think you will get some Bestigors. Nice big block of 10 Bestigors. Plastic units wise, I think there's a really, really good chance that they might get brand new plastic centaurs, Centaurs. Only because like those models with one of the only things in 8th edition that didn't get touched. Now, they've got the Bulgors, the Minotaurs. Now, back in Age of Sigmar 3rd edition, there were big rumours that the Minotaurs or the Bulgors in Age of Sigmar were getting updated. And there was people saying they've seen new Minotaurs / Bulgors. Now, at that point, nobody had the inkling that Age of Sigmar was going to squat Beasts of Chaos and send them back to the old world. Maybe these rumours of Minotaurs for the Beasts of Chaos were in fact Minotaurs for the old world in regards to the Beasts of Chaos. So maybe the Bulgors will get binned and their weird derpy little feet, and they might get a little bit better unit in regards to some Minotaur units. Who knows? Because there was meant to be like a plastic bull. There was meant to be a plastic Doom Bull was meant to be coming, rather than the fine cast metal one. I do think that if they don't do anything with the Bulgors, I think that unit is potentially that'll just come out as metal, because it was originally a metal model, and then it come out into that horrible fine cast. So it'll be easy just to bring that back to metal. I remember having the original metal one. It was an absolute pain in the arse to build, and really was, because his arms are over his head and it's really top heavy, and it just you really had to pin the shit out of those shoulders. So I think if the Bulgors don't get updated or changed to a new sort of fantasy aesthetic, I think the Bulgors and the Doom Bull are guaranteed. I do think the new plastic kits are going to be a Bray, the new Centaurs, Centaurs. I think they'll have a hero for them. They'll have like a hero version of them. I think there's going to be a hero version, because we already had that weird release in Age of Sigmar of like a random Beast Lord that just come out for no apparent reason, and the Beastmen got this new Beast Lord model, and I think that's kind of been in the works for the old world. So he's already out. We've already got a plastic Bray Shaman for the Thunder. Thank you very much, Mr. Mythos. Thank you very much. Yeah, for the Thunderhawk. Yay. It's definitely happening. If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, you know, I'm gonna do it. Fuck it. Let's show it. Right. I'm never gonna work with Games Workshop. Let's be completely honest. Games Workshop are never, ever, 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 ever going to sign me up to their partner program. Let's be completely honest here. Like, they're not. Like, you know, it's not happening. They're not doing it. They're not gonna be like, yo, Pointy, do you want to be on our partner program? Here's some free shit. That's not happening. So I can pretty much say and do whatever the fuck I want, because I not really have to be beholden to Games Workshop, because let's be fair, I'm never going to work with them. So I can just continue doing what I want to do, say what I want to do, and promote who and what I like. Although, wait until you hear what I say about Army Painter. So yeah, so basically, the whole Thunderhawk thing is this. That's right, that's a Thunderhawk from China. That bad boy is getting bought. I've always wanted a Thunderhawk. I am not paying Games Workshop extortionate prices. I am 100% going to these bad boys to get my Thunderhawk. Yep, I am praising my Chinese overlords. So yeah, that's what the Thunderhawk is. If you do want to help me get a fully China Thunderhawk, then feel free to super chat and donate to the channel and make that dream come true, because it will be hilarious. And then watch Games Workshop then offer me a thing in the partner. But yeah, it's all good. It is all good. It's let's be completely honest, I'm never going to work with GW, so I don't really care. But yeah, I think for the Beastmen, I think that's going to be another big release. I think the Beastmen are going to be like the big show this year in regards of, excluding Cathay. I think the Beastmen are going to have a really interesting battalion box. I think plastic Centaurs are going to be a thing. I think there's going to be a Centaur character, hero model, kind of allowing you to do more of a cavalry-based army with them, because the Centaurs are the cavalry of the Beastmen. Let's not kid ourselves. And they've never had a Centaur hero at all. They've never had one. As far as I'm aware, I don't think they've ever had one. I'm pretty sure they haven't. I'm pretty sure they've never had one. Having a little look just in case, but I'm pretty sure they've not had one. Yeah, they haven't had one. Because the old battalion box was 20 gauze, 30 best the gauze, or sorry, 10 best the gauze and 10 ungauze. I think that's pretty much what you're going to get in the next battalion, but it's just going to be doubled up. You'll get like, you know, 40 gauze, you know, a crap load, you know, 20 best the gauze and 20 ungauze, I think. But the whole Centaur thing, I don't think they've ever had a set. Like, if anybody can remember, like, drop it in the comments below or drop it in the comment now. Have the Beastmen of Beasts of Chaos ever had a Centaur champion, a Centaur leader? I don't think they have. I don't think they have. I don't think they've ever had one. I'm not too sure, but I do think they're going to get one now. The reason why is that there's a big focus on cavalry in this edition of the game, and this variation of the game. They really love cavalry, and they're really pushing cavalry hard, and that's why. And the Centaurs are basically the cavalry for the beastmen. So I think they'll have new Centaur plastics. Then there'll be that character model for them, either a named character or a generic Centaur hero. Yeah, that's what I think it's going to be. Because if you think about it, they already have heavy cavalry in the form of dragon ogres, and I'm pretty sure they'll keep the dragon ogres unless the dragon ogres are in the chaos book. But I haven't read the chaos book, so I'm not too sure. Are the dragon ogres in the chaos book? Pretty sure. Pretty sure. Let's have a little look. Where is the pre-orders for... There was the pre-orders for Chaos. Martial and Civil War, no one really cared about it. Old World. Warriors of Chaos Journal. Cards. Dice. Warriors. Chosen Command. Warriors of Chaos characters. Warriors of Chaos monsters. So the Dragon Ogres were a part of Warriors of Chaos. So 100% new plastic Centaurs and character, either generic hero or named version, will come for the Beast of Chaos. That's my view. And I think they'll get a load of other stuff like the old Pestigors, Cornigors, Slangors, Zinchgors. They'll come back as well as the plastic generic Bestigors as well. They'll probably get a couple of new characters. We already seen one. I think it's going to be good. I think the Beast of Chaos is going to be interesting. The Wood Elves are going to be pretty awesome anyway. The Wood Elves are busted. Absolutely busted. Yeah, the Shaggoth is in Warriors of Chaos. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's going to be a thing. Yeah, I think that's going to be a thing. I think that's how that's going to work. And if Mr. Mythos is watching, feel free to let Zeddy Mongo know that, yes, I am all up for a little bit of multiplayer Total War 3. But yeah, I think it's going to be fun times ahead. I think this year has been a good one. I think year 2 is going to be amazing. I think they're going to end this year for Warhammer the Old World on an absolute monumental high. Like, we can make content for weeks talking about Cathay. Lore videos, units. Like, you could literally go through Total War 3 and try to pull out a realistic roster of what units they're going to bring to the tabletop. And I personally think it's going to be an impressive looking army. Now, if you think about it, there is at least 3 dragons in that army. At least 3 dragons. So you've got like, you have like some serious amount of stuff. Like, you've got the Jade Warriors, you've got that weird ox gun thing. It's like where the 2 big cows pulling the cannon on the wagon behind it. You've got they've got at least 3 versions of chariots. You've got the different you've got the different you've got the different sort of heavy infantry as well. So you've got three main characters that they could probably have. You've got the Storm Dragon, the Iron Dragon, and the Jade Dragon. Now, like, there's three centerpiece models straight away for the faction. Like a Chinese dragon, and then their human form as well. Like, that's pretty cool. You've got, like, their heroes. You've got essentially, like, their normal generic generals, the Dragon Blood. You've got the Magistrates. You've got the Celestial Generals. You've got the Astromancers, the Alchemists, the Gate Masters. Your normal infantry units, you've got Peasant Long Spearmen, Jade Warriors with halberds, the Celestial Dragon Guard, which is essentially elite infantry. You've got your Peasant Archers, you've got your Jade Warriors with crossbowmen, you've got your Iron Hail Gunners, which are basically a peasant unit with what looks like a giant dragon-headed firework that they fire at people that are like big-ass flamethrowers. Really cool. You've got the Jade Warrior crossbowmen with shields, which is an option. You got your Crane Gunners, so they're like big muskets behind shields. Pretty much like the Fusiliers in Age of Sigmar, for the Cities of Sigmar. Very similar to them. You've got the Celestial Dragon crossbowmen, so you've got like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 7 ranged units to there. Now, okay, you could argue that the Jade Warriors with crossbowmen and the Jade Warriors with crossbowmen and shields are essentially the same unit. So you could kind of sort of amalgamate them together. Cavalry, you have your Peasant Horsemen, your Jade Lancers, and then your Great Longmere Riders, which are basically riding dragons. And then you've got your War Beasts, like, so your Oryx Crowmen. And then you've got your monsters. And this is, I think, where the faction really spreads into a whole new thing in regards to what we have currently in the old world. So you've got the Terracotta Sentinel, which is a giant terracotta soldier that's akin to a giant. So kind of like around about the same size as an Ale Guzzler giant. You then have your lions. So you've got your jet lion, your jade lion, your celestial lions, which I would say are pretty big. What would they be at the same size of? Ooh, I would probably sort of put them at the round about the same size as a steam tank, around about that size. Then you have the Great Moonbird, which is basically a weird looking eagle thing. And then you've got the War Machine. So you're not even finished yet. So the War Machines wise, you've got the Sky Lantern, which is your flying flamethrower airship war machine. You've got your War Compass, which is like a unit that's pulled on a big chariot. And it also has like an alternative version of the War Drum. And then you've got the Sky Junker, which has got the big massive flamethrower in it. And then you've got artillery, which has got the great cannons and the fire rain rockets. And then you've got a load of Regiment and Renown. And I understand that the Regiment and Renowns are probably, you know, not coming. But yeah, there's just so much in that faction that they could potentially do. Now, when you think about what, like, the quality of the sculpts that they can do today, compared to what they were doing for fantasy 20, 30 years ago, like, that army is going to be insanely good. Like, I don't necessarily want to play them myself, but I just want to see what they do with the dragons. Like, the 3 dragons, I just want to see what they do with them. Because for me, that should be one kit that allows you to build 3 different versions of the dragon and then have their human form separately as separate miniatures. For me, that's how that should work. If that's how they do that, who knows? But Like, you have a huge amount of units that you could bring from. Like, they could get. I mean, yeah, screw it. I'll make a video of like what I'm suspecting Cathay to look like. Their battalion box, their heroes that they're going to get, you know, the models that they're potentially going to get. You know, I'll do a whole video on and really sort of go to town of, this is what I think is going to be in the battalion. This is the units I think you're going to get. I don't think you'll get everything straight away. I think there'll be a very much a sort of, here's wave 1, and then a year or so later you'll get wave 2. Because I don't think they can. And then I think the good thing as well is, I think once Cathay come out, I think you're going to start seeing new units, new resculpts coming into the older armies. So as we've already seen with like the Bretonnians and the Tomb Kings, and the High Elves, I think you're going to start seeing things like, you know, the Knights Errant for the Bretonnians being discontinued, and a new, more dynamic, more updated sculpt to come out. That still shares a lot as the aesthetics of the original kit, just like they did with the men, the Regiment of Foot, the Knights on Foot. How that shares a lot of aesthetics with the original Knights, that mounted Knights. And in fact, that kit is so good that you can use the mounted Knight, which is like 30 odd years old, and the new Foot Knights, and kind of mix them together and build something like Grail Knights with them. So I think we're going to sort of see something like that start to happen after this year. That's my year 3 projection, is that rather than a new edition coming out, I think we're going to start seeing new life and new sculpts brought into existing armies. So things like the Empire are going to probably get the Colleges of Magica, Colleges of Magic probably start turning up, or the earlier versions of them. I could see them getting new state troops and state gunners to sort of not so much replace what we've already got, but bring in that aesthetic for the time that we're playing in. So we're not basically using future models in an older time period. So maybe they'll sort of mix up how the Empire looks. The Bretonnians will be a little bit more ragged, and we'll get a little bit more of that. I can see models like the Green Knight getting an absolute new model, which I'm still to this day surprised that Games Workshop didn't redo that miniature, knowing how iconic the Green Knight is to the Bretonnians. I was fully expecting that model to sort of get a new model. But then there's a lot of models as well that we haven't yet got. Like, I'm pretty sure, and I'll check now, that the Bretonnians have access to a Hippogriffin, yet we don't have a model in the range yet. I'm pretty sure Bretonnians have that. So, Lords of Bretonnia. It can be mounted. So, the mounts are as follows. So the character mounts are a Barded Warhorse, which we've already seen in the Made of Water section. Kind of can already do. A Barded Pegasus, which you can do because there's the new Pegasus kit, which is essentially what that is. The Royal Pegasus, which is basically this one. And then the Hippogriff, right? We don't have a model for a Hippogriff for the Bretonnians. They, even during the Made to Order, they never brought back King Lewin on his Hippogriff. That classic Hippogriff model for the old world was never brought back. So again, I think at some point in the future, Bretonnians are probably going to get a plastic Hippogriff with a plastic generic lord on it. So, and I can guarantee if I went through a lot of that and we went through it, there's probably going to be a lot of other things there that we still don't have models for, that are in the book. Now, I would love a hippogriff to lead my Bretonnian army, because hippogriffs are cool as fuck. And it, you know, a big rolling knight riding around on one just sounds so cool. And it's like, if we don't see the High Elves getting a hippogriff, a lord on a hippogriff, I'd be shocked as well. I'd be highly surprised if it isn't Eltharion the Grim, quite frankly, riding him, which is kind of cool. But yeah, but we have been waffling for an hour, so I'm gonna call it there, because like I'm definitely gonna be making a lot more. So you've got there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of stuff that could potentially happen, and I think it's going to be an interesting year. I think March previews for Adapticon, Gen Con and stuff coming up this year are going to be very interesting when it comes to the old world, especially for the Beastmen and the Wood Elves, especially for the Cathay. That announcement is going to be huge. I would not be surprised if we haven't had that announcement by June. I think we will see at least the glimpse or the start of the Cathay stuff by June, for an end of the year November December release. I think the army box for them, and I do see an army box. I think the army box for them will be out by the end of this year, either just before Christmas or out just before Christmas, for people for Christmas, or it'll be one of the first things released next year. But I think that's going to be the big thing. That's how they're going to end. That's how they're going to end year 2 of the old world. I think that's really what's going to happen. But yeah, that's the video, peeps. Right, I'm going to go because, one, I want to play some Total War 3 because I'm chewing at the bit to play something. I'm going to be working a lot more on this guy tomorrow, so keep an eye out on Instagram and my TikTok. My TikTok channel's growing. I got like 15 new followers today. It's kind of cool. Let's have a little look. Wow, holy crap, loads of notifications. Scratch that, I've got a load more followers today. So yeah, that's really awesome. So thank you to everybody who is interacting with the old TikTok. I will have to update my links and everything. So I now have over 52 followers on TikTok, which is pretty cool. I do like TikTok, actually. The engagement of TikTok is the rocket. The engagement on TikTok is way better than in Instagram. As an example, I posted a reel on Instagram, and that reel, 2 reels actually, 2 are the same, 3 are the same. The first one got about just short of 760 views. The other one got like 700 views. And then the last one I got about 430 views. Now, in regards to the same videos that I put up on TikTok, the first one was about just short of 700 views, which is a little bit less than the one on Instagram, which is not bad, considering it was my first reel. My sort of painting tutorial that I did on TikTok, on Instagram only got like just short of 700 views, and it's on TikTok it's like nearly 1,000. And then my sort of like little whip work in progress of the Bretonnian. Now bear in mind, on TikTok it was only about 330, but I think I've fallen into that sort of 300 bracket views for your videos, which apparently happens a lot. And on Instagram it's only like 430. So you know there isn't that much of a difference. So the engagement on Instagram compared to TikTok is not as good. So yeah, I'll be definitely doing a lot more on TikTok going forward. I think Instagram, unless they kind of like, for some unknown reason, my channel can't get past 2,510 followers on Instagram. it kind of hits 510, drops back down. I lose viewers for no apparent reason, and then I gain them, and I kind of stop at like 2,509. And it drops again, and it never seems to go beyond that. So it's like whatever. So yeah, I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing. But YouTube's growing really well. Really, really chuffed with the engagement on YouTube. So thank you very much for that. And there will be a new video coming tomorrow about my Bretonian project for the old world. So I'm thinking that the channel is probably going to be focusing a lot more on the Horus Heresy and the old world with a little bit of 40k. Because they're the 3 games that I mainly play. And the old world is really getting me excited right now. And there's going to be a little bit of airbrushing on wings tomorrow as well. So it's going to be fun. It's all exciting. But yeah, lots of tutorials are coming. I need a new airbrush to be able to do some really proper tutorials. So I'm going to be doing a couple of smaller sort of tutorials. Things like corroded gold is going to be coming very, very soon. And then I'm going to be doing things like, you know, painting Space Marines and Emperor's Children and Howling Griffins and Chaos Space Marines and converting Grail Knights and all that kind of stuff. I've got a load of stuff planned. I just kind of need to get the kits in to do it, and then we're going to do it. But that is the stream. Thank you, everybody, for supporting. Big thanks to Mythos for your super chat for the Thunderhawk fund that is going into the PayPal, and that will help. For it, it is slowly. I'm building. Games Workshop can keep releasing really cool kits, so I keep dipping into it. But I will get it eventually, and that will be it. So I'll be back next week, Tuesday next week. The only time that I won't be on a Tuesday is if I'm playing a game on Tuesday. Then I'll stream on the Wednesday instead. But yeah, I'll be back next week, and so keep an eye on it. And we'll have a see what we'll be talking about next week. I've got a feeling that next week we're going to be talking a little bit about the Emperor's Children. I think we're going to be talking about the Emperor's Children, especially getting excited about the Emperor's Children. Or we may be talking about the state of Age of Sigmar in regards to how badly Age of Sigmar 4th edition is performing right now. But that is the stream. I will catch everyone later. Have a good one. Peace.